everybody, Simastic this year again to talk to you about what I bought and what I watched today. And today, headed out to my local Walmart, picked myself up a bunch of anime, so let's take a look at what I got. Like I said, picked up a bunch of anime today, however, I did pick up 3 other titles that weren't anime, so we'll take a look at them first, and they all happen to be Goosebumps titles. We have Attack of the Jack-O-Lanterns, Monster Blood, and Scary House. Huge fan of Goosebumps. I never watched it when I was a kid. I never read the books. My brother was really big in the books. Me personally, never read them. I was a little too old for them. Also, obviously, a little too old for the TV show. But later, decided to finally start watching these. I guess about maybe 2 years ago, I finally decided to pick a few of these up and see what they were all about. They really did remind me of Are You Afraid of the Dark, which I grew up with, so I absolutely loved them. They were very cheesy, they're ridiculous, they're over the top, but they're a hell of a lot of fun and a great watch during October. So now on to all the anime. When I headed into my local Walmart, I was looking around the electronics section, and sure enough, what did I see but an end cap full of anime. A lot of great titles as well. A lot of $5 titles, a lot of $10 seasons, and some of the other seasons they had were actually only around like $13 to $15. Really, really cheap. I would definitely recommend heading out to your local Walmart and seeing if they have any of these great anime titles, because like I said, they were dirt cheap, and as we all know, anime titles usually tend to be a little costly, so I got some great deals, and the first time I picked up for only $5 was Inuyasha the Movie 3, being called Sword of an Honorable Ruler. Love Inuyasha, been watching him for a little while now. I had the first 2 seasons, and I think I have 2 of the other movies. Love what I've seen thus far, so for $5, definitely had to grab this one. And I also picked up one other Inuyasha title, and that was the Season 7 box set for only $10. A fantastic deal. These usually are really expensive, so getting this for only $10 was a steal. Like I said, already had the first 2 seasons. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the seasons in between the first 2 and this one, but hopefully I'll get them someday. But for $10, had to pick this one up. Then I picked up 2 Naruto movies. Got these for, again, $5 a piece. Another fantastic deal. I picked up Legend of the Stone of, I guess it's pronounced Gili, and Guardians of the Crescent Moon Kingdom. Very, very cool. Getting for $5 a piece was a steal. Then for another $5, I picked up Bleach the movie, Memories of Nobody. I've never seen a single episode or even a movie of Bleach. This is my first time going into this. Like I said, I am somewhat new to the anime scene, so I haven't seen a ton of it. I've heard fantastic things about the Bleach series, so for $5, had to grab this one. Then for another $10, I picked up Supernatural, the anime series. Another great deal. I've been looking forward to checking this one out for a while now. I've heard good things about this. I'm a big fan of the original TV series. I think it's a lot of fun, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking out the anime series. Next, I grabbed Bakugan Battle Brawlers Volume 1. Got this for $5, another decent deal. Trying to get all the volumes of Bakugan. I think I only have about 3 more to go, so definitely had to grab this one to get one step closer to completing the collection. And the last 2 titles I picked up for only $5 a piece were the 2 Death Note Relight movies. Now, I've never seen the movies, though I have seen some of the actual episodes. Loved what I've seen, so really looking forward to checking out the movies. And again, for only $5 a piece, another great steal. So that's it for what I bought today, so now what I watched. And today's Disney title was Lilo and Stitch. A movie that I definitely knew I was going to sit down and watch as soon as I decided to do this Disney marathon. It was a must. And I'm a huge fan of this movie, and I'll explain why. It's because when I was a kid, I was raised on Disney. I was raised on the classics, Dumbo, Alice in Wonderland, Pinocchio, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, all the great classics. I was raised on those. My grandmother had all the VHS clamshells at her house, and I used to watch them all the time, which is one of the reasons why I decided to go back and buy all the Disney Masterpiece Collection and Black Diamond Collection VHS clamshells. It was, not only for collecting purposes because I like how they look, but also for nostalgic reasons because they used to be what I would watch over at my grandmother's house. So I was always a big Disney fan. Then sure enough, once, I would say around, I think it was 89 when Little Mermaid came out, that was when I, as a kid got into the more modern day for the time, Disney titles. I mean, there were Disney titles coming out since I was born in '82, but I wasn't really watching them. I was watching more of the classics until Little Mermaid came out, and then I started to get really into more of the modern day Disney titles. And I watched Little Mermaid, and in the theaters I saw Aladdin and Lion King and Beauty and the Beast, and I think that was about it for what I saw in the theater. once movies like Pocahontas, Tarzan, Hercules, Mulan, stuff like that came to theaters, I was getting into kind of my teenager years, so I was kind of getting out of Disney. I didn't really care about Disney at the time. So those movies I wasn't really raised on. I think they're all fantastic movies. I love them, have them all in my collection. I've seen them a dozen times. They're great movies. But they aren't really nostalgic for me. I didn't really grow up on them. They're just, to me, really good Disney movies, but nothing nostalgic, nothing great. For me, the really greats are Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, and Little Mermaid. Those are the really good movies for me. However, around, I'd say the late 90s, early 2000s, of course, I started to really get into movies, and thus really started to get back into Disney. I started to really, start watching all the classics that I grew up on, the ones I actually went in the theaters and saw when I was a kid, started watching some of the ones I missed, and I definitely started to get into the newer titles that were coming out around the time, like Lilo and Stitch and The Emperor's New Groove. Really got into those movies, and it kind of brought everything back to me. Watching these movies that came out at the time really kind of made me really get back into Disney. So for me, getting back into Disney and getting back into the modern movies for the time period was sort of like reliving my childhood over again. It reminded me of going to the theaters and seeing The Lion King and Little Mermaid and Aladdin and stuff like that. It reminded me of doing that by going to the movie theaters and seeing these classics. So these movies also hold a very special place in my heart, just like the movies that I actually grew up with. So I love this film for, that reason, but also for the fact that it's a fantastic film. This movie is full of just great one-liners. I mean, this movie is hilarious. There's so many moments in this movie that crack me up. It's full of adventure. It's full of great fantasy. I mean, it's basically a sci-fi movie. We have, just a really good story, a really good, solid story. A lot of emotion in this movie. There are lots, I'm going to come out right out and say it. A lot of scenes in this movie do make me tear up a little bit. I mean, there are some pretty sad and very emotional scenes in this movie that even get to me. I get a little choked up actually watching them. I did it just tonight. Watching this movie got me a little bit choked up at times. It's just that good of a story. I really miss this from Disney. Disney now, with the exception of Princess and the Frog, all their movies are really 3D, CGI animated movies, and they have their place. They're great. Meet the Robinsons was fantastic. Love that movie. So, and of course the Pixar movies, they're all great films. I love them. But I do really miss this 2D animation, and even if it's going to be CGI, but it's going to be at least 2D CGI, I would be okay with that. But I really miss this, the classic hand-drawn Disney movies. I really do miss them. And this isn't full of music or anything like that. This isn't a typical Disney movie with, it's a musical. They went away from that with this. But it still works, and it's still a very good and a very solid movie, and I really do miss it. I wish Disney would keep doing this. I really like Princess and the Frog. I wasn't necessarily taken back by it. I think it was like the best Disney movie, but I thought it was really good and a step in the right direction to kind of get back into that classic animated Disney mode. And I really wish they would, keep going with that. I know they thought sales, theater sales were not quite what they wanted. I know from what I read, Disney was really expecting theater sales to be much, much higher for Princess and the Frog, but apparently it did well, but not as well as they thought. So whether that means they're done, they're going to scrap the whole, classic Disney style, I don't know, but I really hope not, because I really do miss it. And this movie is just a great throwback to the classics, even though it doesn't have music in it. Doesn't, there's no music breaks in it. There's no characters breaking in the song. With the exception of that, it's still a great throwback. And, again, for me, just, getting back into Disney when this movie came out, this, and again, Emperor's New Groove, they really do hold a special place in my heart, and they brought me back to my childhood and reminded me why I love Disney so much. So if you're a Disney fan and you haven't seen this one, do yourself a favor, check it out. It's fantastic, an amazing story. Like I said, it's really well done, full adventure, great fantasy, great actors, very funny at times, and of course, very heartfelt and very emotional at times too, which I absolutely love in a movie, especially a Disney movie. So I would highly, highly recommend this movie. 100%. definitely check out Lilo and Stitch. So that's it for what I bought and what I watched today. Very excited about all the anime I picked up today. Really looking forward to checking that out, especially since, like I said, I am still somewhat of a newbie to anime, so really looking forward to watching all that. And definitely looking forward to watching those Goosebumps titles once October hits. Those should be a blast. Absolutely love that great Are You Afraid of the Dark style. Love Goosebumps. And also watching Lilo and Stitch, like I said, a fantastic Disney film. Definitely one of the better Disney animated movies. It's just fantastic, and I can't recommend it enough. It is such a good story. Everybody needs to have it, and everybody needs to see it. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned to see what I bought when I watch tomorrow. See ya.